Select Start Player 1, Al here. Just give you a little update on some of the things we talked about in the last video, the Graigs List pickup stuff. I had mentioned that there was a few difficulties with some of the items. I wanted to kind of give you a status report. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of afterthought thinking that it would be a good idea to record some of the repairs I did and did not do so. Apologize. If you guys are interested in that kind of thing, definitely leave a note in the comments, and we'll see if the next time we do some repairs we can video some of that stuff. So that being said, the status on some of that stuff, as you know, the Atari Lynx would power on, it would backlight the screen, but there was no picture. We could hear sound from the games, and so what I did was I went through the unit. I did a cap kit on the unit. I noticed that the ribbon cable for the display was misaligned. It looked like it was kind of wedged in at an angle, and so we connected the ribbon cable. When I got it all reassembled, it turned on and I had picture, but I only had about 2/3 of the screen. The left third of the screen was bad. Luckily, I had some Atari Lynx that I previously diagnosed with other motherboard related problems, and one of them had a absolutely pristine screen. So I swapped the screen in, and now that unit is fully functioning and the audio is nice and loud. That was the reason I originally was doing the capacitors on it, because the audio was low, and it turned out actually the speaker was bad as well. So I had a spare speaker in one of the other units. As far as the 7800, I showed you guys the frayed wires, and I'll see if I can try and get a clip in of the frayed wires. When I was showing them to you guys, I went ahead and tested that and found out that the power supply was perfectly good, just that the wires were exposed. So I actually ran some heat shrink down onto the wires and got it all nice and cleaned up. And I added a little bit of extra heat shrink at both the main part of the plug where it goes into the console and at the part where it connects to the brick, to kind of give it a little extra strain relief, thicken it up some. And then as far as the Sega that was kind of ugly in the box, it turns out that the Genesis that was inside of that shell that was kind of melted, the Genesis itself, the board was really good. I had another unit that had died, but the shell was in really good shape. So I swapped the shell onto the other board, gave it all a good test, good clean, swapped out the controller that had frayed wires. Obviously I'm just going to put that in a parts pile for now. I may replace the wires on it at some point if I come across a bad controller that has really good wires, who knows. But either way, I got one complete set of good clean parts, got them all inside that box, and now that box has got a nice spot in the closet that was in the first video, and so we're pretty happy with that. Moving on, this week we got some more Graigs List pickups. I wanted to have a video out for you over the weekend. I was originally thinking about just trying to go back and take some pictures of the completed work, and there's a segment that I want to do that I'll call Retro Necrotech when I'm doing those repairs. And then I just decided, you know, I could tell you guys just as easily as try to show you some pictures of what was already done. Next time when I'm actually doing the work, I'll try and get you some video. So I ended up not getting a video out this weekend, but I kind of knew that I had some things coming down the pipe that I wanted to get all into one video, along with this Graigs List pickup. So without further ado, I'll show you some of the stuff we picked up this week and see what you guys think. So I have an alert set up on Graigs List that lets me know for certain keywords that I'm looking for. Atari happens to be one of those keywords, and I got an alert at the very beginning of the week saying that it had found some Atari stuff. I went online looking, and there was a gentleman that had posted some Atari 2600 stuff. And I was looking through, and there was some kind of average stuff, and there was even actually some kind of beater stuff. Obviously, this unit's going to be a parts unit. But, I mean, he was very open that this was damaged like this. But, you know, 2600 Juniors, it's not that big a deal. In fact, that same lot had another 2600 Junior that is actually in pretty good shape. So no real worries there. I also have a working 2600 Junior already. But the thing that caught my eye is that he had an old wood grain Atari 2600 that he was just mentioning as wood grain, and so I kind of scrutinized the Graigs List pictures, and as you guys know, Graigs List has the absolute worst photo galleries as far as the resolution and being able to really tell what something is in the picture. But I noticed when I was looking at this 2600 some kind of key details. The first thing I noticed is that the sidebars looked like they were kind of thicker than usual, and that the front had a little bit more of a U shape to it than I was used to seeing on the wood grain 6-switch Ataris that I currently have. And I also noticed that the slots that the switches are in are kind of narrow in comparison to the gap space that's usually on there. And I thought it looked narrow, but again, the picture was kind of at a distance and it wasn't real well focused, and on top of it, it's such low resolution on Graigs List. So I sent the gentleman a message letting him know that I was potentially interested in his Atari stuff, and could he tell me where it was manufactured. So hopefully by this point, the folks who are into Atari know exactly where I'm going with this. When Atari first started producing the VCS, later to be known as the Atari 2600, they manufactured them in their own warehouse in Sunnyvale, California. Sure enough, this, if I can get this to focus in for you, and I don't know if that was good enough or not, but is a made in Sunnyvale, California, or what collectors refer to as a heavy sixer. So I'm very happy with that. I did not previously have a heavy sixer in my collection for Atari stuff, and it was definitely a good price picking this up. Several controllers and a power cord, which I still need to collect from the gentleman, but plenty of stuff to make that pickup worthwhile. But while I was waiting for a response from him on where the machine was manufactured, I also noticed that he had some Sega stuff up. He had a couple game controllers, and in the United States, of course, we refer to the 16-bit Sega system as the Sega Genesis. In the rest of the world, it's referred to as the Mega Drive, but Mega Drives are kind of hard to come by here in the United States, unless you have a game shop nearby that specializes in import or even allows import. You don't see it very often, and it's kind of weird. In the area that I live in, a lot of the game shops even actually shun away from import. There's a place that's actually a chain that there's several stores throughout the state, and it's funny, it's where I bought my Neo Geo CD. So they bought the Neo Geo CD, which is a console made in Japan, from Japan, and it was actually one of the Japanese models, not one of the US released Japanese AES CDs. They turned away all the games that the guy had with the system because the games were Japanese, but they bought the system. Anyways, I was interested in the Sega stuff initially because it was a fair price, considering that in the lot he had a Model 1 on a Model 2 CD, and I figured, if that's functioning, what he's asking is fair for the lot. But then I saw what looked like another Genesis in the picture, and he had listed in his details that he had a Mega Drive, so I took a real scrutinous look at the picture and was pleasantly surprised that it was in fact a Mega Drive, and that it comes with two 3-button Mega Drive controllers. So, needless to say, I was pretty happy with that. And as a bonus on that set, a copy of Doom 32X. So, that made for a pretty decent eventful week collecting. But back over the weekend, a friend that my wife and I go and hang out with from time to time, we went over their house to have some snacks and watch a little bit of football, and he brought me out this wonderful little gem. A almost pristine ColecoVision. So I was very happy. I do actually have a ColecoVision already in my collection. In fact, I have the ColecoVision to 2600 adapter that plugs in on the front of the unit. But my ColecoVision has definitely seen battles over the years, and it looks pretty good, but it's nowhere near as pretty as this unit. But the big bonus for me also with that was that he actually has the original manual for the system, and he had a copy of Donkey Kong, which I think I already had Donkey Kong for the ColecoVision, but he had the manual for it. And a little color tuning instruction. So that's pretty fun. So that's the pickups for this week. Still interested in your thoughts on me doing some tech videos, maybe even some mod videos if you're interested in those. Didn't get a whole lot of feedback in the last video for the questions I asked. So I think we're just going to start numbering. Every video is going to be numbered, but some of them are going to be kind of named uniquely, like my regular pickup videos. Trying to come up with an interesting name that goes along with the Player One Select Start for those. You know, some of the guys out there, like for instance Retro Liberty, when they're doing a pickup video, it's the NES Pursuit. You know, when they're actually out in the hunt. And I plan on hopefully getting with my friend who hasn't been on video yet, and I don't want him to feel any pressure, so I'm not going to mention his name just yet, but when he starts feeling better, hopefully we'll get him on, and maybe we'll be able to go do some hunt videos. And so I'd like to come up with a name for those. And then I have the tech videos. Like I said, I want to call those Retro Necro Tech. I've got a splash screen made up for them. Speaking of splash screens, I was sent a splash screen through Facebook, and I'm going to work that either into this video or maybe the next video. We'll see. And probably be the next video, because I actually want to mention the guy's name and give him credit, and the name is escaping me right at the moment. So YouTube, that does it for our pickup videos. Maybe we'll do some gameplay in an upcoming video. Not really sure where to take the channel. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you like what we're doing so far, like, subscribe, and select start, and game on.